Our Julie Parisi is also at the scene this morning.
Julie joins us now live from Marshall Square. Julie, fill us in on what you see out there this morning.
Well, Chris, the scene out here this morning looking a lot different than it did yesterday. As we know, yesterday there were 150 Columbia County firefighters out here fighting this fire. This morning there are only 4, but they've been here all night watching for hot spots. I did just speak to one firefighter briefly who told me that there was one big scare last night around midnight. They did have to bring in an aerial truck to fight a big hot spot that they feared could reignite this fire, but thankfully it turned out to just be that, a hot spot. They said the magnitude of this fire yesterday really did give them some fear, but that the rain last night really helped them out. Now, I think we have some video to show you from yesterday's fire. If you take a look at that, you'll see just how big this fire was. I did speak to the fire chief yesterday, and I asked him, how did this fire spread so quickly?
There was so much fire that you couldn't see just by taking a picture or watching videos. So there was so much more going on inside the attic and inside the building that I mean, it was really big right from the right.
They couldn't tell us yesterday just how this fire started or exactly where. We do know the investigation begins today and that it could take months. You guys, for now, I'll send it back to you. Chris, there's one crew out here that's been working an overnight shift, checking to make sure there are no hot spots. They did tell me earlier this morning there was one hot spot they had to put out around midnight. They actually had to bring in an extra truck to fight that fire, make sure it didn't reignite. But take a look at this building. You can see just how bad that damage was yesterday, how devastating this fire really was. We have that video to show you from yesterday's fire. It was just a massive show of flames. When I spoke yesterday to the Columbia County Fire Chief, I asked him, how did this fire spread so quickly?
There was so much fire that you couldn't see just by taking a picture or watching videos. So there was so much more going on inside the attic and inside the building that I mean, it was really big right from the right.
The fire crews I spoke with earlier this morning said the rain overnight really did help to cool the temperature of this building down and prevent any more of those hot spots from reigniting. And just as we're coming live to you, this rain is coming back down on us, so hopefully that will be a blessing in disguise to the fire crews on scene here today. We all know they need a break. Chris and Mary, for now, back to you.
All right.
Chris, there's no word yet on what might have started this fire, and the investigators tell me that full investigation could take months. But just take a look behind me here, this scene looking a lot different than it did yesterday. We knew that there was 150 Columbia County firefighters out here yesterday fighting this fire for hours, and this morning there are 4 of them left here checking to make sure there are no more hot spots. There was one scare they had last night. A firefighter told me this morning they had to bring a truck out here around midnight for one large hot spot that they were afraid would reignite. But the fire crews here told me that the rain overnight really helped cool the temperature of this building down. Now, as for that investigation, it will be a long time before we know what started this fire. It was a wake-up call like no other.
Because you know how hard it is when you're older. It's very overwhelming.
I had one foot out the window, and I signaled the firemen below.
Most of the 85 residents escaped this fire at the Marshall Square retirement home within an hour after the fire broke out. One woman was rescued 7 hours later. Another didn't survive.
There was so much fire that you couldn't see just by taking a picture or watching videos. So there was so much more going on inside the attic and inside the building.
As the building went up in flames, residents gathered outside waiting to be reunited with their families.
How long have you been a firefighter?
21 years.
Have you ever seen anything like this before?
In a structure, no.
150 Columbia County firefighters hard at work for hours trying to put out the flames and looking for those still unaccounted for. Those rescued from the building were taken to the Evans Government Center. The Red Cross stepped in to help.
Definitely with a heavy heart that we have to come before the media today.
When the smoke cleared, Columbia County commissioners stood behind the fire chief for a press conference. They thanked the community for coming together after a tragedy that could have been much worse.
In typical Columbia County fashion, we've had our businesses step up. We've had a lot of our residents and homeowners step up to help out.
Now, there were 2 other people taken to the hospital yesterday. One of them was a resident here. The other one was not. We're told their injuries are not expected to be life-threatening. Chris and Mary, back to you.